Record. Okay. All right. So hello, everyone that's joining the replay or joining on Zoom now. It's time for some wellness on Wednesday. I have a few questions to get through today. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer Diana's question first of all, because she's here live. So Diana asked me about when to take zinc. She wanted to take zinc in the evening before bed, but she also wanted to take activated charcoal. And basically, activated charcoal absorbs minerals and vitamins, as well as other gunk and rubbish that may be in your gut as well. I mean, not other, but it will absorb all kinds of stuff, but including the good stuff. So you ideally want to take activated charcoal away from, and other binding agents away from vitamins and minerals. Otherwise, they'll just bind together and you won't get the benefit. So the general rule of thumb is you should wait for at least 2 hours after you've had activated charcoal before having anything else. Or if you have a multivitamin mineral or you have food, you wait an hour before you have the activated charcoal. So basically, if you want to take activated charcoal, have it about an hour after dinner, and then wait 2 hours, and then have the zinc, or have zinc and then wait an hour or so before having the activated charcoal. So basically, it was activated charcoal, wait 2 hours before having anything. Yeah, it's quite confusing sometimes, but basically, wait at least, I basically have at least an hour and a half between your charcoal and anything else.
So if you default to 2 hours either way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, default to 2 hours either way.
Okay.
And that's
both things I wanted to take before bed, sort of last evening, but I didn't want to take them together, and I wasn't sure whether it was better to take the charcoal, let that get through the system, and then take the zinc, or the other way around.
Yeah, it's just basically, unless you've actually got something in there detecting exactly what's happening, you don't actually really know. But yeah, I'd leave at least an hour, 2 hours maybe, whichever way you do it.
Okay.
Whichever way you do it. So I hope that gives. It's the only answer I've got. The only answer I've got there. Okay. Now, next up, I've got a question on fish oil. I've got some advice on multivitamins, and I'm also going to answer the question. Basically, I have to eat all the time to stop feeling dizzy or fainting. Or basically, a lot of people are actually asking me, they've got hypoglycemia. They keep on having low blood sugar, and they have to keep on eating all the time. And they want to know some answers, of which there are actually 10 answers, which I'm not going to go through. So first of all, one question I have. If I eat fish, should I take fish oil? The short answer is almost certainly yes. The main reason being that the reason we have fish oil is to get some extra omega-3 fat, because not everyone, but most people are aware that they need omega-3s, which is why they eat fish. But there are two problems. Okay, first of all, a lot of fish is farmed, and a lot of people are just eating farmed fish, or they're eating fish where all the oils have been pressed out. So like tuna, for instance, it's often, people are buying it in tins, and all the oil may have been pressed out and you're just left with the protein, and then the oil you are getting is the sunflower oil or the olive oil that's in there, and no real omega-3s. So if you're eating lots of small fish though, okay, so things like sardines, anchovies, herrings, pilchards, and then you're going to be getting some good quality omega-3 from those, whether they're tinned or not, because they don't tend to be pressed. You've got the whole fish, so you're going to be getting more omega-3s. So one problem is the fish, because if it's farmed, it won't contain any. The second problem is nearly all wild animals, I think all wild animals, and birds as well, contain omega-3 fats if they're eating their wild, natural foods. Whereas most of the food we're now eating is farmed, because it's not just farmed fish that don't have omega-3s. Most animals don't have omega-3s in them because of the way they've been fed, whereas wild animals do. And we would have eaten nothing but wild fish and wild animals. So we would have actually got omega-3 pretty much from any meat or fish or fowl that we were eating. So we were actually getting a lot more omega-3 than we are today. So if you're eating fish 2 or 3 times a week, that's not going to be enough omega-3 for most people. So the only way to really know is having a test, and then you'll actually get to see how much omega-3 you need to take and how deficient you are. But basically, if you are not having fish every day, then you probably need to take a fish oil or some other kind of omega-3 supplement. It could be flax oil as well, that's omega-3s. So you don't have to have a meat-based or a fish-based source or an animal-based source, but it does help. And the second thing I want to say and talk about is multivitamins very quickly. Because on the subject of testing, one of the things I'm learning a great deal about at the moment is blood chemistry, the normal full blood chemistry count that you would get from just having the normal test when you go to the doctors and they do a blood test, and it looks at your red blood cells and a few other bits and pieces. Now, it turns out that there's an awful lot of information that you can get from that, even if it all comes back normal. But one of the most sort of simple things, okay, that I've been reminded of is when I first started doing nutrition in clinic, I would always suggest that people start with a multivitamin mineral, and then add a fish oil, okay, to cover all the basic bases, and then start adding in extra bits and pieces. But over the years, you get, it's like, and I'm prone to this as well. You think, oh yeah, glutathione, that's good, or this is good, or that's coenzyme Q, this is good, this is good. And then I forget the basics. But doing the blood chemistry course, it's just really reminded me of the basics. Is if you are taking any supplements, say you're taking vitamin C, you're taking vitamin D, you're taking some B vitamins, you take vitamin E, you maybe take magnesium, you're taking 5 different things, okay, but you're not taking a multivitamin. Or you could be taking curcumin, and you could be taking glucosamine, you could be taking some swanky other vitamin or mineral or something, but you're not taking a multivitamin. Go back, start with a multivitamin and a fish oil, and then add in other stuff on top, because multivitamins, nearly every single process in the body that's important for creating energy, for burning fat, for creating sugar, for burning sugar, for keeping everything working, you need a whole array of different things. And if you just put in 1 or 2 things and you're not feeling any better, it could be because you're just lacking a little bit of vitamin K, or a little bit of an extra B vitamin, or a little bit of A, or a little bit of E. So take a multivitamin if you're not. The other reason to take a multivitamin is that at the moment, nearly everybody that is dying from coronavirus has got some kind of micronutrient deficiency. Okay, it's pretty evident that nearly everybody that's dying, and possibly everyone that's getting long COVID as well, has probably got some nutrient deficiency when they actually get it, and this is what leads to the problems. So if you take a multivitamin mineral, you're probably statistically looking at the actual science going to decrease your chances of dying massively. You're not going to decrease the chances of getting infection. That's what all the masks and things do. But if you have coronavirus then, and you're not taking a multivitamin, then I think you are doing yourself a disservice. And this is what needs to be promoted at the moment. Everyone should be taking a multivitamin mineral, because it will probably decrease the death rate. And if you do get COVID and you're not taking a multivitamin mineral, just start. But make sure that none of them are in massively high doses that they may interfere with any of the medication you're on. So check your medication first of all, and maybe speak to a healthcare expert if you are too worried. So the next thing is blood sugar. Now, a lot of people are very worried about diabetes, and they realize that they shouldn't be eating too much sugar, because too much sugar causes all kinds of problems. But a lot of people suffer from hypoglycemia, especially between meals. So they eat, they feel fine, but then an hour or two later, they start getting very low blood sugar, and they start feeling like, or they feel like they're getting low blood sugar, I should say. And they maybe start getting shaky, moods start having mood swings. They can start feeling a bit nauseous, maybe headachy. Basically, they have learned that basically, unless they're eating small, frequent meals, they have problems. And I've got some people who it's terrible. They have to eat every few hours, yet they can somehow survive overnight. There's a number of reasons why, but some people can't. They're waking up constantly. So if this sounds like you, if you are basically, you have to eat to stay well, otherwise you feel like you're crashing in some way, then you are suffering from low blood sugar at some point. But the traditional answer, in fact, the only answer when you go to functional healthcare practitioners, when you go to medical doctors, they just say eat small frequent meals. But here's the thing. When you stop eating small frequent meals, what happens? You're not cured. And the fact of the matter is that we are designed, okay, our biochemistry, our physiology should be able to work, that we should be able to go for days and days without eating. Yes, we're going to get hungry, but our sugar's not going to crash. So the real answer isn't to eat small frequent meals, although that can help with the symptom management. But what you need to do is you need to try and uncover the actual cause of the hypoglycemia, of which there can be many. There are about 10, and they all have slightly different presentations. They're all going to look slightly different on blood chemistry. There are other tests that they're going to be different in as well. And how you actually treat it can be different, a little bit different, and some of them can be extremely different. Some of them you actually need to give things that can help you become more sensitive to insulin. Some people need something that's going to make you less sensitive. So it can vary. Some people are going to need a bit of extra food here. Some people are going to need more protein. So for instance, if you are someone that after you eat food about half an hour later, you have to go to the loo. So every meal you're eating, okay, half an hour later, you have to go and do a number 2. Your bowels have to evacuate. And then you get the blood sugar problem. That signifies a very different problem from someone who eats and then 3-4 hours later, they just absolutely crash and they know they've got to eat again, but they're not having any sudden bowel release. There are 2 different problems, okay? So if you are suffering from low blood sugar, okay, and you are fed up with having to constantly, in fact, you're not even fed up with having to constantly eat, but you now know that you realize that there's another problem underneath this, including there's a very rare tumor that gets missed. And perhaps the only reason it's rare is because everyone's missing it. So if this is happening to you, then maybe reach out, because I can help uncover what is the cause in you, and then we can maybe do something about it. So thank you very much for watching. I am now going to disconnect from Facebook. If you do have any questions or queries, again, you can post on Facebook, you can send me an email, you can do whatever you want, and I'll be here for you. So bye for now for everybody there, unless Diana has another question that you'd like me to answer live. No, okay. Here we go. We can stop recording.